Hey, folks. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Doug with News and Views by Doug. This channel is basically where I give my observations and opinions on world events, politics, and pretty much anything else I feel like talking about. And tomorrow, the United States of America, we turn 250 years old. And it's going to be a great day. But I see so many things happening that are not good for the United States. But let's start off with the Persian Gulf. So the Iranians that are loyal to the Ayatollah, they're finally burying his old, ass. We killed him months ago. And I always thought that the Muslims had certain days that they had to bury someone within a certain amount of days. But apparently that doesn't matter for the Ayatollah. So they are now burying him for the next couple of days. And there's been a huge turnout from politicians around the world to the people that are just fanatics for this man. Ya Hussein, تو رو گرفتن ازمون تو رو گرفتن تو رو گرفتن ازمون سخت تحمل غمت وقت خدا. But here's the one thing. His son, Mojtaba Khamenei, I can't say their names, now known as the Cardboard Ayatollah. He supposedly took over for his father when his father was killed, but he was also seriously wounded on the same day in the same attack. And we haven't seen him since. It was first reported that he was dead. And then it came out, probably about a month ago, that no, he was just seriously wounded and he's hiding in some cave. And, they've got messengers running back and forth where he's running instructions to the IRGC and the other leaders. But no one has seen him. He hasn't shown up for his father's funeral. No one knows where he is. Now, it's come out in the last couple of days that the United States, through third parties, tipped off the Iranians that the Israelis were going to go and try to wipe out the number 2 and number 3 leaders in the Iranian government. And the United States felt that that was a bad thing, that we're trying to negotiate. But then we turn around and we had President Trump threaten to kill all the negotiators if there wasn't a deal. And then in just the last 24 hours, he basically said that he was willing to wipe out Iran and their leadership and put them back into the Stone Age. So I don't get it. It's all politics. But we apparently ratted out that the Israelis were going to go after number 2 and number 3. So, we're not being real good allies. And of course, the Iranians, they don't give a shit. Israel feels that they're being stabbed in the back because they're not being allowed to act. The United States in the first negotiations was telling Israel that they should not retaliate when their people and their land is being attacked. And Israel, not being included in the negotiations, said, nope, we're going to continue doing what we're doing. And they went and they've signed some type of treaty with the nation of Lebanon, where they're going to try to get rid of the Hezbollah terrorists, which are an Iranian proxy. And then down in Gaza, apparently the peacekeepers are beginning to move into Israel so that they can move into Gaza. And the Hamas terrorists are supposedly now turning over their heavier weapons and maps to their tunnels, if they have any tunnels left. But they're not turning in their small arms. So we'll see what happens with that. We have traitors, not only in our government, but just in the local population. And this rise of the left, socialists and communists, It's getting out of control. And a lot of it is young people that just have no clue what they're doing. They're being fed all these promises of everything's going to be free and everything's going to be cheaper, and, gas and rent and food. And they know nothing about socialism or communism. And there is not one country in the world that has successfully done socialism or communism. Not one. And they don't realize how many millions of people have died when communist leaders took over the countries. So they're voting them in New York. They're voted one in Colorado. And the treachery just doesn't seem to stop. Here it is. It's almost the 4th of July. We celebrate 250 years of freedom. And yet we have this movement in the United States right now where the young people and a lot of the old lefties are trying to vote in socialists and communists. And these people, they will become the downfall of America. It just blows me away. And it's already starting. So here it is. We're going to celebrate our 250th anniversary tomorrow. The city of Buffalo, they decided to raise a Somali flag in front of their city hall and celebrate Somali Independence Day. And the flag was eventually stolen. The pole was vandalized. Patriots said enough of this bullshit. But the city decided they're not going to have a fireworks celebration because they just can't find a location to do it, even though they've been doing it for years. The new mayor has basically said, nope, we can't find a location. Well, same thing's happening in Boston. You had their leftist mayor come out, and she declared that I think it's June 26th is going to be Somali Independence Day in Boston. And they raised a fucking flag. And then turned around and made a man who's running for Congress take down an American flag. What the fuck?
I don't think it's a big deal, but that's your call?
Yeah, we rented the fence, so
yeah.
we gotta take it down.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, we don't apologize.
Yeah.
It's,
you rented the fence?
Yeah, yeah.
Do
No, I
whatever you
understand.
want with it.
I've been in these situations. Yeah, well, that's great. It doesn't do any good when it's taken down. Making me take the flag down. The city of Boston complained. Terrible, terrible. Put that Somali flag up in 2 seconds.
I mean, how crazy is this? Let me set up what you just saw. So the gentleman in that video is Robert Burke. He's running for Congress in Massachusetts, and he decided that it was appropriate to put up an American flag in City Hall in Boston. That's City Hall right there. Ugliest City Hall in America, by the way, built in an architectural dark age like the 60s, 70s, just a gross building. But he wanted to do it in Boston this week, America's 250th birthday, after the mayor of Boston, Michelle Wu, celebrated Somali Independence Day and raised the Somali flag over City Hall. And officials, you just saw, they forced him to take it down. And when you look right across the street, there's a Somali flag. There it is, flapping in the wind in Boston. Here's the mayor, Michelle Wu, celebrating Somali Independence Day.
Somalia's Independence Day serves as a powerful symbol of freedom, unity, and the enduring fight for justice and dignity for all communities. Now, therefore, I, Michelle Wu, Mayor of the City of Boston, do hereby proclaim Friday, June 26, 2026, to be Somali Flag Raising Day in the City of Boston.
Okay, I'll just say the people that are from Somalia that are here for a reason, because Somalia is a third world disaster. That's not my opinion. That's a fact. They don't even have a proper government. We don't even recognize what they do have. Robert Burke is
the mayor's press office told us that there was no one available today to answer questions regarding this about-face, issuing a brief statement instead. Now, according to that statement, an appropriate site could not be identified that would provide a safe and widely accessible viewing experience for residents. One common council member told us privately the decision and the reason given for it was ridiculous, considering the variety of locations the city has held fireworks displays in the past. One place many years ago, was in Riverside Park, which is in the North District, represented by common council member Joe Golombek.
And it's just disappointing. It would have been nice if we could have done something like that in Buffalo so that 50 years from now, kids could look back and say, oh, I remember this, I remember that. Like I remember my childhood in Riverside with the bells and the fireworks.
Developing tonight, we're taking a live look at Buffalo City Hall as police investigate an online threat to blow up the iconic building. They're also looking into the harassment of several city lawmakers following the raising of the Somali flag in Niagara Square this week. Well, the flag raising ceremony took place on Wednesday, which is when the city of Buffalo released a statement explaining why there would be no fireworks show in the city to mark the country's 250th anniversary this weekend. Well, since then, someone vandalized the pole and stole the Somali flag, and now the city of Buffalo leaders are facing increased scrutiny over the lack of holiday plans this 4th of July weekend.
You only turn 250 years old once, so this is a major milestone in the history of our nation.
Just days before our nation's 250th anniversary, City of Buffalo Mayor Sean Ryan releasing a statement saying that the Queen City will not be hosting a July 4th fireworks show. The administration cited an appropriate site could not be identified that would provide a safe and widely accessible viewing experience for residents. Erie County Republican Committee Chairman Michael Crocker says he feels Mayor Sean Ryan's administration not making this a priority is unacceptable.
They say they had logistical challenges. I think everybody at home knows that if the mayor wanted to make the fireworks happen, he would have made it happen.
The city's announcement came on the same day the city hosted an annual flag-raising ceremony on Wednesday, July 1st, commemorating Independence Day for the country of Somalia. This is something the Queen City does frequently for organizations in various communities throughout the year. The flag-raising has come under fire from lawmakers, including Western New York Republican Congressman Nick Langworthy, saying, quote, Buffalo's leaders claim they couldn't find a site to celebrate America's 250th birthday with fireworks, yet they somehow had no trouble finding the time and space to raise a Somali flag. That wasn't a logistical challenge, it was a choice. Crocker says he fully understands recognizing other communities, citing America is a country built by immigrants, though he says commemorating another country's independence is not what this week is about.
Buffalo is a gem. There is so much history in this city as it relates to the story that is America, and we've done nothing to celebrate that out of the city of Buffalo and Mayor Sean Ryan's City Hall.
Now the city has no fireworks show, and someone has illegally taken down the Somali flag that was raised in front of City Hall. Do you think the vandalism was justified yesterday?
No, I don't think it is, and I don't think it ever should be. I don't think it was appropriate to have that event when you haven't properly recognized the United States of America.
Shane Key.
What the fuck has Somalia ever done for the United States, for Americans? They've done absolutely nothing. And as President Trump said, they're a third world shithole. And they are. And they have been and probably will be. It just blows me away. Again, what the hell has Somalia or any Somalian ever done? And we've got their politicians now in office, and they're trying to take over. They've already taken over Dearborn, Michigan. They've taken over parts, I think it's Patterson, New Jersey. And I've shown you a video where they're trying to take over New York City. And of course, they voted in a Muslim mayor who's anti-America. So one other thing that came out, you know, these Democratic Congress and senators, they've been going to the ICE detention centers and they want to inspect the facilities. And they want to take care of their constituents. They're not your fucking constituents. They're illegals that are in this country that are being deported. Your constituents are citizens of this country. And I find it funny that they want to go and, check on these people. But how many times they've been to a state, a county, a federal prison and checked on citizens? And we've got one real clown. She claims to be a Palestinian, and her name is Pamela Jalapal. I can't say her fucking name, but she's a clown. And I'll show you a video where she's actually going after the Homeland Security director, or I'm sorry, I think the man's in charge of ICE, and asking him if we've kept accountability on the children separated from their parents and how much trauma these people are going through. And it's just wrong. And then she's brought up that we should, pay them repatriation funds. Give them money for them being illegal and us deporting them. We should be taking care of them and their kids.
Attorneys track when they were prosecuting a parent or legal guardian who had been separated from their child. There's only one answer to this. It's gone through the courts.
Did we track it?
Did you track when you were prosecuting a parent or legal guardian who had been separated from a child?
I don't believe we were tracking that.
You were not tracking it. That is the correct answer. And when parents are prosecuted and sentenced, they are in DOJ custody, correct?
Correct. Their custody is transferred to the U.S. Marshals.
So these parents were in your custody, your attorneys are prosecuting them, and your department was not tracking parents who were separated from their children. Do you know what kind of damage has been done to children and families across this country? Children who will never get to see their parents again. Do you understand the magnitude of that?
Y'all, check out this video of this Democratic representative that says that they need to pursue reparations for people who have been traumatized by ICE.
We also need offensive actions around prosecutions. We need real accountability, because at the end of the day, the people that have been inflicting this harm need to be prosecuted. They need to be brought before us, and they need to be held account for the trauma that they have created, and we are going to have some form of reparation.
And it's just like we've got a bunch of people in the United States that they want money because their ancestors from 150 years ago were slaves. Every race of people in this world has been a slave at one point or another. And here's the thing, folks. There's still slavery going on today in the modern world. Arabs are taking Africans and enslaving them. In Asia, there are slaves. In China, there are slaves. Don't think there's any slaves in the United States. Oh, that's right. The illegal aliens that have been brought across by the cartels, they're basically in slavery because they're being forced to work in the different factories. And one of the famous ones, they had a bunch of kids working at marijuana grow facilities, and ICE went in and arrested a bunch of the adults and took a bunch of the kids, and these kids were unaccompanied. They had no parents in the United States, but they were working their asses off in the marijuana farms. And, a lot of people don't realize during the slave times in the United States, there was a lot of African Americans that were slave owners. There were different tribes of the Native Americans that were slave owners. Go back into the Native Americans, and they always took prisoners and turned them into slaves. And the Mayans and the Aztecs, La Raza, they turned those people into slaves, and not only that, but they sacrificed them to their gods. Throughout human history, there has always been one form or another of slavery. And now these people are asking the U.S. taxpayer to pay them for the wrongs. Well, I don't know a single person in this world that's ever owned a slave. I know I haven't. And don't know anyone whose parents were slaves or their grandparents were slaves, or probably even their great-great-grandparents were slaves. About 4 generations, if not more. So it's the downfall of America, and I don't get it. Now, one of my last subjects that I'll talk about, the World Cup's here. And I understand people are proud of the countries that they came from. But it's out of control when it comes to Mexico. And I live in an area that I'm not too far away from the Mexican border, and there's lots of Hispanics in the United States. And they just go crazy over the Mexican soccer team. And when they win, again, they just go crazy. They took over city streets, and they celebrate. The city of Chula Vista in San Diego County last week had a World Cup viewing party for the Mexico-South Korea match. And they had close to 40,000 people come to this event. And the city of Chula Vista put up large TV screens. They had vendors. They had a concert. They shut down streets. And they had city employees setting this up and city employees cleaning up. I sent an email to the mayor of Chula Vista last week, and I asked him, how much did this cost the city? How much money was spent on this large event? And then my next question was, when is the American match going to be having a watch party? When are you going to spend money on the American team? Haven't heard from him. But several TV stations went to the Memorial Park in Chula Vista, and they were interviewing a lot of the fans. And it's funny when you watch the video here, listen to their voices. Oh, they're all proud of La Raza and the Mexican team, and they're all wearing the Mexican jersey and saying they're so proud to be Mexican. You won't hear a single Spanish accent because they're Americans. They're Chicanos.
Thousands of people turned out to watch that match in Chula Vista tonight, and our Alex Lai was among them. Alex, what was it like out there during that match? I mean, it had to be a party.
Oh my goodness, Jake. It was a party, and it still is a party. We got Banda El Recodo on stage out here, and thousands of fans, like you said, they have left the watch party, and they are now out here on 3rd Avenue, just absolutely taking over the street. You can see that beautiful 3rd Avenue sign lit up. Just thousands of people, mostly wearing green jerseys, because they are celebrating a Mexico win. There was so much excitement, especially when Mexico scored a goal. You can see what a big crowd there was watching the game. Jerseys, flags, and noisemakers filled the rows. Some people staked out for hours to get a good spot to watch the game at Memorial Park, going all out for this watch party. We talked with some fans after the game ended who were touched by the large turnout.
To see so much raza here, it's like really just,
yeah, we got a little emotional.
Our hearts are just full.
I'm very proud to be Mexican today.
Yes.
Like, I feel like there is no other way to explain it.
Yes.
Like, I really feel there's no other way to explain it. Like, it's amazing to be part of all of this. Like, I think this is what it's being Mexican about.
Yes.
Like, having all this community with you together today.
It was so much fun out here in Chula Vista today. This event started in the afternoon. There were rows and rows of food trucks, booths, games, and just tons of people coming out here having a great time. There are still bars and restaurants open, and as you can see, a huge crowd just in the middle of the street enjoying this World Cup win for Mexico and also a free concert. It has been so much fun out here, and I think we can expect this energy every time Mexico plays. It's been a great time. I'll pass it back to you guys in the studio.
Yeah, expect that to just keep building up.
Such an exciting night. Thanks so much, Alex.
But will they scream and yell for the American team? Will they go and buy American jerseys and celebrate when the American team, if they make it to the next round? Nope. So anyways, folks, yeah, I hate being so damn negative, and I guess that's just who I am nowadays. But as I always say, and I'm not even going to give a quote today. I'm just not in the mood. We'll leave it for tomorrow. And tomorrow I'll tell you some stories about the American Revolution that you may not have known. So anyways, folks, I hope you stay safe, stay out of trouble, watch your surroundings, take care of your family and friends, and really enjoy your 4th of July weekend. Again, we turned 250 years old. We're the greatest country in the world, and we offer so much to those who want to become Americans. Integrate, assimilate, appreciate this wonderful country. So anyways, I'm going to tell you, God bless you. God bless the United States of America. And stay safe. You take care.